Welcome to the AFL Fend podcast. I'm in a room filled with just me and Nick. There's no wanker this week. He's in that. Where did he go?
Myanmar.
Oh,
It's what Burma's now called.
yeah. Well, that's right. Yeah. I think it's for his. It's for his Mr. He's Australia. He's Australia Man of the Year, not Man of the Year Australia or Australia's Man of the Year.
You know
he's
what?
Australia Man of the Year.
Knowing Sammy, I would have thought he would toot his own horn about that, but he's never said anything about it.
No, he did. He said that he tried out for something or other. It was a Man of the Year sort of thing.
Yeah.
But he said he didn't get it. So I don't know if it's the same thing, and maybe there was a scandal with the first guy. maybe some pornographic materials came out. I'm not too sure, but
or maybe a drug test.
Maybe a drug test, or maybe a like non-drug test.
Like that.
In fact,
that little segue,
like that little Willie.
Yeah.
What's
going on?
So little Willie Rioli has, and we talked about this earlier, and you didn't know the full story, so I'm going to give it to you. You guys probably already know, all three of you. Hi, Brenda. Willie Rioli had a pee test.
As you do.
Now, the test that was received by the lab was not, in fact, containing urine. Yes. Now, I gotta. Well, first off, the thing is, Willie Rioli really doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would be up to. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's something performance enhancing or if it's just like an illicit drug or something. I don't know. But it's very out of character, I think. And how dumb do you have to be? They're going to know that it's not piss. I don't know if maybe he thought, hey, like this will get me through the finals.
So it's a little bit of apple juice.
I don't know if it was apple juice or not. I don't know. I doubt it was apple juice. But it was something that would have had a nice straw texture to it.
Yeah,
I feel. But that's so dumb.
Maybe some of your Summersby.
Well, very well. Could have been a bit of Summersby, a bit of pear Summersby.
Yeah. Very nice.
Lovely.
I just got my little lime Sprite with 40% less sugar.
It is 40%. That's why I bought it. I got that for free. I got a 24 pack for free because they had the wrong price on it at Coles.
Your work.
I don't work at Coles.
But Liquorland.
We don't do that at Liquorland. We're just like, no, that's the wrong price. You got to pay full price. But yeah, how bizarre.
Yeah, it was very odd.
And it was the 20th of August that test took place.
And you know what? Well, the game on Thursday night, I thought that their three Aboriginal boys just absolutely tore us to shreds.
Oh, they were incredible.
So,
crazy.
Him now, because it's an indefinite suspension, I think I saw now.
Yeah, I can't see him not being found guilty. And if he is found guilty,
I mean, we know how Asada operate. They operate on a guilty until proven innocent.
Well,
yes, I'm still salty.
We're not talking about that.
But
it's you don't have to look far to find that he's guilty. Like, what's he gonna say that I didn't do it? It must have been done afterwards.
Yeah,
it's not. Surely someone watches you. Well, that's another thing. Maybe they let him go into a cubicle and then maybe they don't actually watch them. It's not fucking prison or like a fucking police thing. But
well, it depends what the guidelines are, because it might be different between countries.
Maybe
because I remember you talking about it was a wrestler.
I'm just going to quickly make sure I actually press record. It's hard without Sam. No, we're all good. We're going. We're live.
Right.
We're not live. It's that was very unprofessional.
Because there was a wrestler that got into trouble for telling a USADA person that what a great job you got. You get to watch me piss in a cup.
I'd say must have been CM Punk.
That's right.
It's very CM Punk thing to do.
So that's what they do in the US, clearly. But it's not necessarily what Asada does.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what they do. But if you're found guilty, which you'd think would be the result, 4 years.
4 years.
4 years.
That's done. His career is done.
Yeah,
that's done.
Done and dusted.
And
that not only that, I'm pretty sure that extends to all sports. Everything. So he probably wouldn't even be able to go play with like a local. Nothing.
No. That's crazy.
He's cooked.
Yeah, that's wild.
It wasn't worth it. I don't know what he took. What was in his system that made him do that?
Yeah.
But
it's still a great story. So
it was probably worth having it found out.
Yeah.
anyway, depending on what it was.
We're probably going to find out more tomorrow because this is just going to be all over everything.
And at the time we're doing this, it's very fresh.
Absolutely.
The time we're recording this. So another news today. Today was a massive day. Huge day for news. Unbelievable day for news. Don Pike, not sacked, quit. Yeah, quit.
Yeah, we know how these things go. But then again, I wouldn't put it beyond him to think there's a lot of people looking over my shoulder now. We've got this independent thing coming. There must have been something that's happened because that's only
There had to have been, yeah.
that only got announced this week.
Yeah.
Or the people getting involved.
Yeah, well, it was last week.
Last week.
Spoke about it last week.
That Dunsel and Pav.
Yeah, and there would have been no decisions made by them this week. You wouldn't think.
No, it would have. But
yeah,
he must have seen where the winds were blowing during the week and what was going on. And so, I'm getting out before.
I seriously thought he at least coached starting next year.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. Maybe he would have, but I mean, you also got to look at he's got the best percentage win record of any Adelaide coach since it's been an AFL club.
Well, it didn't help Rats back in the day.
Yeah, but that's Carlton. They're nothing else. Well, it was Adelaide as well. But yeah, I'm reasonably surprised. So what happens now? I mean, I'm not that surprised because I mean, what the fourth coach this year? That's got to be up there. Four coaches.
It's been a bloodbath,
and the season's not done.
Yeah.
Although we'll talk later. I don't think Worsfold's going anywhere, but I mean, there's still Ken Hinkley. That's a possibility, although I doubt it. And I think all the other coaches are safe.
See, the thing is, all the other coaches that are in hot water now, because there's just been so many that have gone out, I reckon all the coaches that are under pressure, are probably, especially after this one, sigh of relief at the moment.
Oh,
because
you can't have too many, because there's no market for good coaches.
If you're a club that's going to sack your coach now, you're crazy.
Yeah,
because
it's going to be the
worst. Who are you going to get?
Yeah, exactly.
Who are you going to get?
And Brad Scott, I think he got a job at the AFL, so he's not that he will probably be an option anyway. So yeah, that's and I mean Brad Scott might follow suit if the Cats go out in straight sets. Not playing Reece Stanley.
Oh.
Did you hear why?
Because they thought it was going to be better.
Yeah.
But why would you leave a guy like that? Yes, he's tall. But I've seen him chase down Tipper before.
It wasn't a smart decision.
It's not like he's a lumbering giant.
Yeah.
And then you put Blitzarves into the ruck.
Yeah.
And then didn't take the game plan from round 2 and just tried to go up against him in the tap. What are you doing?
Incredible scenes at Cardinia Park. We can also talk about the attire as well.
Well, how about a bit of good news? I was right. The Rats.
Did he get?
He got signed
today.
You missed that.
I missed it.
No, it was during the week, earlier in the week.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, they've signed him on.
Maybe I didn't see it. I've been
3 years.
This week, but
3 years.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's worth it.
Yeah, I said it for the longest time, didn't I?
Yeah.
Rats is going to have it.
Hopefully they stick with. I think they will. Even though in the current climate it's pretty cool to sack coaches, but it's a good decision.
St Kilda finally doing.
As long as St Kilda realise it's going to be a slow build, it's going to be a slow slog, 100%.
I think they're realising that with some of the moves that they're going to have to make.
Yeah.
As well with Carlisle and Jack Stephen.
Yeah.
And then others that they're going to be losing.
Whatever else is going to happen. Yeah. We'll get into some of the re-signings from today as well. So we've had Goldstein re-sign at the club for 3 years. He got his 3 years. They were talking that they were only going to give him 2, and I think it was Reece Shaw that sort of kicked in and said, "No, we need him. We want him. Let's give him 3."
We need Sammy here for that. Well, I want to know how he's.
Sam chops and changes on Goldstein like you would not believe. Also at the Roos, the news, CEO, can't recall his name because I don't really care. He's been sacked. He was the one, I'm pretty sure, that was on holidays for about 6 weeks this year. So he's out the door from, I'd say it's a result of a review.
He should have been sacked for that. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well,
Mid-year.
I don't know.
And you're coming back.
I don't know if you were on the episode where me and Sam were talking about people taking leave during the AFL season.
I'm pretty sure I went off.
You probably did.
Or it might have been the week
Why?
after.
Maybe 2 weeks. Okay, I can understand 2 weeks.
6
'Cause
weeks.
whatever the fuck, I think it was like 6 weeks,
It
if
was.
not longer. What are you doing, mate? Absolutely ridiculous. Also signed today, Sean Burgoyne signed with the Hawks for 1 more year. So he's not going anywhere. It might not be his last year. Who the fuck knows with him?
Yeah, or, I don't know. I'd have to ask some Hawthorn supporters what they think about it. But what was his year like this year? I don't know. He didn't really have. It was definitely slowing down a bit.
Slowing down, but he's still probably. Well, they don't have any young players, so he's in the best 22.
Yeah.
Not really much more to say about that, really, is there?
Well, there aren't many big fish veterans left for the Gold Coast to snap all up.
Not at all. I can't think of one.
No, I can't think of it.
Do you think his plan is to go into coaching? Would that have been why he was going to a place like the Suns? Would it really have been that close to Hodges' role?
Now, was it more Burgoyne wanting to go somewhere else, or the Suns wanting him?
Or the Suns wanting him and the media blowing it up?
Yeah, I think it's the latter.
Okay.
I think it was the Suns that were after him.
I agree with that.
And Burgoyne was probably going.
They wanted
We'll see.
they wanted the Hodge blueprint.
Yeah.
So I'll watch this space with Burgoyne and see what happens next year. So Jack Martin's picked Carlton as his nominated club.
Yep. As expected, really.
No surprises there. I think
No surprise.
Sam said something else. I think he thought he was going somewhere else, but no, he's going to Carlton. No one's surprised. Good luck to you, Jack Martin. Good luck.
Was
to
it
you.
Melbourne that?
I can't remember.
It might have been Melbourne that sent him.
Maybe.
Have to look up.
Also, Patrick Wright has met with the Bombers, and John Worsfold in particular pitched to Paddy, which would obviously lead you to believe that Worsfold is not going anywhere.
Well, it seemed pretty clear during the week on Monday. From the weekend as well. Sadie Campbell said, "Yep, he's sticking around."
Oh, well, that's it then.
Yeah, no, they there was some questions, and basically, I think at the VFL game, at Windy, no, it wasn't. It was at Port because I play all the prelims at Port. There was a bunch of wrestling people there and media around, and kept asking, and then basically all of them said, "No, he's sad."
Yep.
So they just nipped that in the bud.
Why not? One more, probably the final year.
Look,
depending on it'll be really what he wants to do, depending on how Essendon performs next year.
There was no need to move on him.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Although,
I don't think so. You got Carousella coming,
and they've still got Rutten there as well.
and they got I hadn't heard Rutten. I didn't even know Rutten was a coach there until that story broke.
Really?
Yeah, I think I'd seen him, but I didn't put 2 and 2
I
together.
was gonna say, he got brought in to beef up their defence,
Oh, right.
which to change the defensive structure.
Yeah.
Which is alright. Just need a structure to win the ball and put it in the ball.
Yeah. Also, we've got
I would say with Paddy. I'd be interested to find out if he has been talking with some of his former teammates, because that might be a bit of a frosty
You'd think
relationship,
so, wouldn't you?
particularly with guys like Heppel. Because Heppel was around.
Yeah.
Kale Looker was there.
Yeah, but I mean, they were all in the same boat.
I know, but
I think Paddy's issues would have been more with the club.
yeah.
And is anyone from that era still there?
Yeah.
Apart from the players?
Oh, you mean coaching wise?
Yeah.
He's-
Obviously,
Doc's
Dank's not there. Herd's not there. Bomber's not there. I'm sure there are a few people that are there, but
old man Dog's still there. I can't remember what his name is.
But would he have had any? He wouldn't. I don't think.
Oh well, he was, I think, unfairly thrust into the spotlight.
Yeah.
That whole thing.
I think probably what Warshaw was saying is that it's it's practically a new club, new people in charge.
Yeah.
I'm going to be overseeing everything. and there's no need to put those two connections together. I don't know if I really didn't see him wanting to come back to Essendon, but maybe because he's been there before and he knows some of the boys, some of the players, maybe that does help more than hinder. But who knows? I'm now thinking that it's very likely we'll see him at Essendon next year, because Essendon have a raging hard on for this trade or signing or whatever the fuck it's going to be.
And let's like say that incident doesn't happen. Besides that, the club has been pretty good to Paddy.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah, absolutely.
Like,
aside from that one thing,
because we had to, we put up with a lot of
shit.
Yeah, beforehand, a lot of inconsistent play, and that's my only concern with him coming back. Is it going to be the old Paddy that we've seen that just comes in every now?
Well, I mean, if it is, see you later. Because once Draper matures, can't really need him unless Belcho just does himself in.
It's a good replacement for Zach Luck.
Oh, anyone. But Essendon will be able to make that deal done very easily because, not that they'll need to give anything really for him. Port don't want him. But Danaher, I think he's gone. See you later.
It's not looking good, is it?
After Sydney.
Is it Sydney
It's Sydney.
It's tipped. Okay.
Yeah, I'm 95% certain that he's gone. And this is the reason. He doesn't like Melbourne media.
Yeah.
You go to Sydney, no one in Sydney fucking cares unless Sydney are making a grand final, and then even then they don't really fucking care.
Yeah.
You don't see it in the paper. There are no shows talking about you. Once he moves there, Melbourne won't even really be talking about.
Do you reckon they know that the Giants are in the finals?
No,
Probably
absolutely not. No. Apart from their supporters, who are probably mainly people from Melbourne, no.
Expats.
No. So yeah, I think that's a done deal. But I think it's probably going to work more in Essendon's favour because there's a big question mark over Danaher.
Has been for
exactly
a long time. Last 2-3 years have been very poor.
Yeah, and I mean if you've had spouts with osteitis pubis for that long, that's not good.
And well, yeah, it's like his last 3 years have been very poor. And yes, he's spent half of it injured, which is part of the problem.
Yeah.
And when he has come back, he's played 2 good games, I'd say.
Ish.
When he absolutely he played really well against Collingwood.
Yeah.
I think it wasn't on an Anzac Day, and there was another good game where he kicked a bag, and then besides that,
was about it. Yeah.
So, like, it's really hard because really do want to see him take off because he might have been the great white hope for us.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that might be what's playing on it a bit.
It's been a very long time since Essendon had a star forward.
Yeah.
Or a star big man forward.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's going to be another long time once he leaves.
Yeah,
until we get another one.
that's something we're just going to have to put up with.
But I think he's a risk for Sydney, but whatever.
Trying to cover for Franklin.
Well, yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Another injury for someone that's already injured.
Yeah.
Based half the time.
Yeah, who knows if he'll ever play again. He probably will, but who knows if it'll be
Yeah.
So probably, I think the biggest news of the week is Danny Frawley's passing.
Without a doubt.
100% without a doubt. Danny Frawley probably the most underrated, not only media personality, but underrated backman.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because he was such a character on television, I think people sort of forgot just who he was and how good he was.
Just look back. I advise everyone to try and you can go onto the advertising for Channel 9 right now, but on the 9 Now app you can get footy classified. And if you want to get a good summary of what Danny meant to people and people that were really close to him, such as Damien Barrett and Hutchie and all those guys. I think they dedicated the first 20 minutes to Danny.
Yeah.
It's a good watch. It's pretty hard hitting right in the fields. But yeah, the guys he had to play back in the early 80s.
Yeah.
Late
So
80s.
he played on
You would have had to play on Burden.
Dunstall, Modra.
Plugger when he was at Sydney.
Yeah, and I mean he would have gone to training and had to play on Plugger.
Yeah.
So.
he had to play with Plugger and then against Plugger later on.
Yeah, all the biggest forwards that there were for that era.
Yeah.
And he was
Gary Ablett.
Yeah, Gary Ablett. And back in those days, like if he held one of those blokes to 5, then he did a good job.
Yeah, and he usually did.
And he did, yeah, absolutely. He used to. I mean, they probably all got cauliflower ears now because of him. But yeah, very very sad and unexpected as well. Yeah, especially with some of it, it's pretty obvious what happened. Not that we really need to delve too deep into it, but I think everyone. It's sort of like a bit of an unspoken thing.
Well, it was when I first heard about it, it was hit hard, and I was just like, please tell me there was something on the road that he hit. But it's probably not the case.
Sorry, there was a guy who said he lives around that area, and we don't need to go too far, but it's the only trait for K's.
Yeah,
only trait. So yeah, it's really unfortunate and sad.
Too young as well.
Absolutely, too young and too much of it seemed like a spectacular person.
Absolutely.
And he was always open to have a laugh at himself, just to make other people laugh. So he'll be sorely missed by the AFL community. Even the young, I think I saw a clip from it was the St Kilda BNF. It was just before, and I can't remember who the player was, but he was a young guy, and he was tearing up. So clearly, still had a big impact at the club. I think even what's his name, old mate, the umpire, Razor Ray. Even he had a couple of stories. So
really,
yeah.
When Spud was coach, must have been.
No. So this was, I think, from memory, I think Razor Ray was saying he was just umpiring like a TAC Cup or something like that.
Okay.
And he was practicing his bounce, and he's still shitting. And he's bounced it and it's gone flying, and it's hit Danny in the legs.
Yeah.
And then Danny just like picks it up, looks at him and goes, "Okay, come on, you'll be right. You'll get there. You'll be right." So yeah, and I'm sure everyone in the AFL
From what I've heard, that's just pure Danny.
Yeah. Apparently, very empathetic person as well. But let's have a look at the games that were. So week 1 of the finals is over. We're into the semis. So on, I think it was a Thursday night barn burner down at the car park in Perth. We had the West Coast Eagles, to no one's surprise, defeat. Well, I think no one's surprise. No. Defeating the Essendon Bombers by, was it 56 or 54 points, something around that mark. All I know is that last week I tipped them by 50, and you and Sam were sort of like, the closer than that. No, Andrew was correct.
Yes.
Shower praise upon me. You wanted to talk about a couple of little argy-bargy incidents. Tell me about Nick Nat.
There was a little bit of a scuffle after there was a tackle that Zachy Merritt did on Nick Nat.
A hair tackle.
Zachy ended up with a bit of braids in his hand and did a little cheeky
little yank.
Zachy, what are you doing, mate?
He's a country boy. He's not used to hair like that.
Like, don't do it.
Never seen it before.
Don't do it. But
yeah, it's silly.
On the other hand, Nick Nat went too far afterwards.
Yeah.
Throwing him into the fence. Like, I know that's, if he was in the middle of the ground, it wouldn't have mattered, but you gotta know where you are. And
he knew where he was.
Like,
he knew where he was pushing.
And his eyes lit up, and he saw
red.
Rage,
yeah. And I mean, he's probably got his whole life he's probably had people making fun of his hair and pulling his hair and shit like that. People were saying if you don't want people to pull your hair tied up, you shouldn't have to fucking tie it up. He shouldn't have to tie it up.
Here's something that I heard today.
Oh.
Apparently, in the AFLW, if the players have braids or dreadlocks, they are required to tie it up.
Why?
It's considered a potential weapon, apparently.
Okay.
Because they're usually heavy.
Yeah.
So that rule is not applicable in the men's game.
No. But
Karen wasn't happy with it. I'm with her. I think
who wasn't happy?
Karen. It's a double standard, and she's absolutely right.
Make the rule.
I agree.
Make the rule.
So
it's not a rule now, so you can only fair enough, but you can only really go by what the rule is at the moment.
Yeah.
And there's no rule for that. So, I mean, let's not take away from the fact that Zach Merritt started it.
Oh yeah, no. I'm not condoning what Zach did.
And it was clearly a split second thing. His hand just happened to be in the hair. And
I saw him doing it, going, oh, what are you doing, Zach?
Yeah, but I love the West Coast fans. They just started booing every small dark-haired Essendon player. I don't know if they just did it or if they just thought every. I mean, they started booing.
So anyone that wasn't Tipper.
Basically. Yeah, I think they booed Conor McKenna's hair going back. Or maybe it wasn't Conor McKenna. But every player that was shorter with darker hair, I know they were booing Shield. They were booing, what's the young fella? Snell. No, they don't. But,
pretty, apart from that, pretty average game. West Coast absolutely smashed Essendon in the first quarter, and it was just Essendon were kind of hanging on. They didn't play awfully for the rest of the game, but just
they didn't even start off too badly, really.
Yeah, there was just a few.
They were keeping with them, but there was always going to get over.
There were a few decisions that went the wrong way early on. That there was a few high tackles that went
50 odd points, neither here nor there.
No, but like early on, it could have been closer.
Yeah,
but yeah, they kind of just absolutely smashed them in the first quarter, and just not enough composure, except for one man, Andrew McGrath.
Oh yeah,
he is an out and out superstar.
Look forward to more of that. He's going to be a champagne footballer. There's no doubt about it.
And like on the couch, talk a lot about guys that perform in the finals, like Shuey and like that, and he absolutely.
He really. I don't know what it is.
Andrew McGrath, he's a flatline footballer.
Yeah, I don't know if it's his hair, but he just really reminds me of Robert Harvey.
Okay.
There's just something about him. Maybe it's the build as well, but there's just something about him that just really reminds me of him.
But he's just an absolute gem.
Well, he's going to be an absolute star. Probably the only good thing out of that game to come for Essendon was Andrew McGrath's performance.
Yeah.
So there's two lines of thinking with West Coast that they've really put their foot forward and they're looking scary good, or it was a bit of the case of them being just flat track bullies.
Yeah, I tend to go with the latter.
Yeah.
I wasn't exactly impressed.
No,
there wasn't. Nick Nat didn't have that much game time.
No.
And that might ramp up over this week.
Well, you'd hope so, because he could win them games.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's crazy good.
But I thought if they come up against a club that actually plans for the way West Coast played, which Essendon did not.
No, not at all. They just did exactly what they did when they got pumped by them 5-6 weeks ago.
They clearly didn't watch the Hawthorn game.
No.
Because
did nothing different all game.
All they did was bomb it in.
Yeah.
Off rush kicks.
And that's what I told you would happen as well. I said McGovern, Hearn, and the thing was the people that were taking these intercept marks weren't even just the three main ones that you thought they were going to. Everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone. And then you had Willie Rioli, not that he's going to be playing this week. Willie Rioli, Liam Ryan,
and
Lewis Jetta just cleaning it up.
They had so much time and they were just so clean, those three.
Do you think that Willie Rioli, the scandal this week, do you reckon that plays into their minds?
I don't know if it will play in their minds, but it's taking away a very good user,
An amazing component to their team.
off the back flank.
Yeah,
Because he was Liam Ryan wasn't as much as a factor. I think he was playing a little bit injured.
He looked like he'd done his hamstring or a calf or something. He was looking sore.
Lewis Jetta was okay, but Willie Rioli absolutely smashed.
He was
Essendon
fantastic.
first.
Yeah, maybe it was whatever he was taking. Who knows?
Mm.
And then we've got on Friday night we had the Cats going down to Collingwood. To be honest with you, it was hard to tell who was winning. To be quite frank, because they were wearing the same clothes.
Yeah.
Were they not? They were wearing the same clothes.
Roll him out.
What an idiot! Oh, I got a handshake agreement 20 years ago with a bloke that's not at the club anymore. Shut the fuck up.
So,
and then he's like, and I love it. He's like, oh,
I haven't followed this. What's this?
So Eddie Maguire says that there was a handshake agreement 20 odd years ago with the then chairman or the then president or something like that. That when Collingwood play the Cats, doesn't matter where, the Cats wear white shorts, Collingwood wear black. So Cats wear the white shorts and the jumper with the white on the back, and Collingwood wear all the all black, apart from obviously the stripes, the white stripes. That's a handshake agreement. Eddie also said that they have the same agreement with Carlton, except that Carlton always wear the dark shorts.
Yeah, okay, I can see where.
And then he's also said that he's put a lot of time and money invested into to getting Collingwood an away Guernsey for next year.
Right.
Collingwood's away Guernseys are exactly the same.
Yeah, it's just a little bit wider, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And it's obviously it's hard
now
to have an away Guernsey for Collingwood, but
I'd have to ask someone that knows more about the club, Collingwood, obviously, but do they have something like Essendon where there's something in their constitution that they have to have those colours?
Probably.
Because that's the thing. That's the big thing with
Essendon at one
Essendon.
stage had, I think they had some yellow in there, another colour.
But there's
a very long time ago.
In Essendon's constitution, they have to have a red sash that goes from. Well, I have to think. It's from the right shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the left
I'm
hand.
sure
that's written into the law of the club.
I'm sure Collingwood have the same thing as well.
Maybe. Well, the thing is that they used to have that magpie.
But they still had the stripes underneath it.
So maybe they've got something like that.
Probably.
They need to get
Probably.
But I mean, Essendon's found a way.
Yeah.
Well, it took them a while.
They really need it. I mean, you have players for 200 years with no fucking clash jumpers with mud all over them, and you can still tell who was who. And on Friday night, but on Friday night it was no different. You'd have to be there'd have to be something seriously wrong with you to not be able to tell the difference between those two clubs. And not only that, but it's bad enough that Geelong can't play a home final at their home ground, which I actually understand why they can't. I get it.
Yeah, of course.
But it's bad enough that they have to have that against them. Let them wear their fucking home outfit.
They've earned the right.
Yeah.
Well, they're not getting their home ground, so they at least need to have their home Guernsey.
Who gives a shit? Yeah. Who gives a shit, honestly? But anyway,
there's an interesting stat about GMHBA that you're talking about it.
Yeah.
On
Virginia.
It's the first time I've called it by its current name.
You talk to me. I'm getting another drink. You talk to me.
I hope the doesn't go blurry because I did that.
I'll be right back. You keep talking.
So the according to Champion data, the Cats have only been rated around, I think, 5th or 6th or 7th in rankings, or in whatever rating system that they use, and they've been overachieving on the ladder. Basically because of their advantage that they get at home HBA. So there's people in the media that are not surprised that Collingwood did Geelong on the weekend because they have to play on the J.
And they're 3-10 in finals since not 08.
Well, they've won one since.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're 3-10.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, not doing too well.
Come up against West Coast this week.
Yeah, so it's going to be very interesting. We'll talk about that a bit later, but I'll give a little tidbit. It's going to be pretty much the battle of the scandal versus the battle of poor form. So, yeah. Cats never really. I mean, I think it was 10 points in the end, but Collingwood looked ahead of them the whole game. Yeah. Not that I watched it, but it's what I've heard.
I reckon the Stanley factor was
so stupid.
A lot of people are downplaying it, but I think it was a big one.
I think Chris Scott thought that was a genius move.
Yeah.
And if it hadn't gone his way, maybe. But still don't think so. I thought Collingwood were going to win last week.
It's not like Reece Stanley isn't Sandy Lance. If you get or Tom Bell-Chambers,
and they're not going to suffer a whole lot.
Yeah,
well, no, much more than anyone else suffers in the rain.
Stanley in the rain is still going to play fairly decent.
Yeah, spot on. Saturday, actually, which game came first?
The Doggies.
Right.
That was the week. The afternoon game. Yeah.
So the GWS absolutely crucified the hopes and prayers of the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Interesting. The crowd was bullshit. I think they said they had 20,000. I don't know if that's because Bulldogs were late getting there, Bulldogs fans were late getting there and then early leaving. But it didn't look it.
Do we know if it was predominantly Doggies or Giants up there?
From what I've heard, I think it was predominantly Giants. I think the Giants, they've got a decent number of members now, I think.
Well, the thing is, you compare the two expansion teams, you would pick the Giants to have the bigger base.
Oh, yeah. And they do.
And that's not just because of their form. It's because of they've got a better geographic area to deal with.
Yeah.
As in, they've got kids that they can get into footy where Gold Coast.
No one in the park.
No.
It's all empty nesters and young people. I wasn't surprised. Yeah. I had a strong feeling that GWS were going to come out with their sort of monster when they play that monster sort of game, and they did.
Yes. It's just reminded me of something that I was going to say about.
Not Toby Green.
No.
Oh, we'll talk about Toby Green.
We'll bring up. I love talking about Toby Green.
I hate thinking about his face. He's just got a face. There's too much face and not enough feature. I don't know what it is.
I love Toby Green as a player. I love him. Mum hates him.
I cannot stand him.
Which I don't know if it endears me more to him or not.
Probably.
I just love because you never know. You never know.
Yeah,
you never know
when
likes or not.
You never know when he's going to be a fucking psychopath.
And when he's on, he's a.
No, we'll get to Toby Green.
Absolute success.
I know.
Anyway, Essendon. No, I'm going to bring back to Essendon again. But
stop fucking talking about
this. Was something.
I knew this was going to happen with me and you, and it's more you than me.
I know. It's something I forgot to bring up. That they need to look at what GWS did and take that into next year. Because what I saw from Essendon on Thursday night was just not enough.
Tell me what you're seeing in GWS that you want to see in Essendon. Not the other way around.
Aggression.
So GWS playing with a lot of aggression.
Yeah. So there was one particular incident. Was it? It was towards the end of the game, but it looked pretty bad. McKernan, I think, went to a little bit of shadow boxing or shadow pecking or whatever. I think it was at Lewis Jetta, and then Lewis Jetta came back at him, and McKernan.
I did see that.
McKernan, this is a final.
He's not a tough.
You're meant to deck him after that.
Sean's not a tough.
He's the smaller man. You're doing that to him. You stand your ground and put him in the dirt.
He's not that kind of.
That is
he does need to develop that.
But it was, I didn't see enough finals type pressure and aggression out of Essendon.
There wasn't.
It wasn't good enough.
They didn't go up a notch.
Giants, on the other hand, were full of it.
Yeah, and whether or not they can continue to display that is another thing.
The thing was the Giants did have a bit of motivation. So there was, I remember hearing about it. I can't remember exactly what it was.
In like regards to like their loss in.
I think it was how
Australia.
the doggies treated Haynes
Right.
in the round 22 game.
Yeah.
And I think there was a little bit of retribution going into that game. That's what I've heard.
And I mean them losing the prelim to them in 2016 would have also been a big factor.
It was a little bit more recent, the Taylor Haynes kind of treatment.
Yeah,
But apparently the Giants boys took that into the game and spurred them on for a bit more aggression.
Yeah.
So it will be interesting if they take it up to Brisbane.
It'll be very interesting. It'll be a very interesting game, which we'll get into shortly. We'll also talk about, I'll start to sound a bit like Sam then. We'll also get into the incident with our little mate, with Toby, Tobias Grenade. How does he just get a fine? And then Leon Cameron comes out and says, "Oh, that's what we love about Toby. We want him to play the exact same way." How he gave him a fucking black eye?
So from what I've heard,
It's the Bont too.
Yeah.
The Bont is Jesus.
He is.
He's fucking God.
He looks like it, doesn't he?
He certainly does, but not only that, but just the way that he plays, carries himself, everything about the Bont.
Yeah.
I don't reckon he's got a malicious bone in his body. And Toby Green, the little fucking creepy customer that he is, how's that? Did you see it?
So I've seen glimpses.
Get
of
in there and see it. I mean, because you see it and you're like, oh, whatever. But if you get in there and you see it and they do the close up, that's bad.
So my understanding is that it's the threshold was whether he was eye gouging. So from what I've heard, if they were convinced that he was eye gouging, it was going to be weeks. Otherwise, it's just a fine.
So the bomb coming out with a clear shiner was no persuasion to
I
that.
know. Well, yeah,
Whoever the
I know.
fuck
But
is it?
they-
Did it you go to the tribunal?
yeah, it went straight to the tribunal.
Yeah.
Him and the other Giants player.
I'm telling you, I reckon if that was home and away says in 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah,
That's what I reckon.
I wouldn't.
They're always more lenient in the finals. Willie Rioli's going to be playing after the week after next. if they get through.
Well,
I'll be like, well, it's finals and there's no verdict.
if it was the tribunal's decision,
Yeah.
but no, they've already said suspended indefinitely. Well, the other thing is, there's the problem there because we missed both of these two games, so I'm not too sure. But what was the Bulldogs' response to seeing the bond after that? You know, leader of their side.
I'm not sure. I don't know if they were. I don't know what stage the game it even was.
I thought it was
to be honest.
fairly early. It might have been fairly early on, but clearly not good enough.
So where do we draw the line? Is it when Toby Green kills somebody? He's kicked people in the. It's just.
Well, let's be honest. They're going to change the rule because
Yeah, well,
when
there's a rule named after him.
I know.
There's the Toby Green rule.
That's
It's
what I
called
mean.
I'm pretty sure in the fucking AFL bylaws it says the Toby Green rule, and then it's got a photo of him studs up and some poor prick in the face.
But it's all right because there's now an exception to the Toby Green rules because you can put it.
You can kick people in the back.
You can stick them in the back.
Stick 'em in
now.
the back.
You can stab them in the back, but you can't stab them in the face.
So Saturday evening we had Richmond beat Lions,
Yeah.
which sort of surprised me. It sort of surprised me.
I think the end result was surprising. I could have gone either way when did the tips. I was leaning towards Lions, mostly
heart than
because
head.
of the heart.
Yeah. Probably, I think that was most people because I think Richmond. It's hard to deny that you're looking at the premiers of 2019. I think.
Yeah.
I think it's also hard to deny as disgusting as it is. JJ, shut the fuck up. I think it's also hard to deny that there's a strong possibility that there could be a Collingwood Richmond grand final, which I think for ticket sales is fucking incredible. And asses in seats and people watching it, it's great. But does anyone really want to see that? Anyway, I don't know.
Hate to bring up the NFL, but I had to put up with this 2 years ago a few years ago when it was Patriots Seahawks. So I already know I'm used to seeing grand finals being played out by two teams I really don't want there.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it was a beautiful thing in 2017 when Richmond got there, but I'm a bit over it.
yeah, I was a little bit over the men's.
I wasn't.
I had enough during
but
the
the
year.
Lions still didn't look too bad. I don't think they looked too
From
bad.
what I've heard, they started off the game really well,
Yeah.
and then it just kind of
It sort of fell apart. Yeah.
Apparently, they absolutely blitzed them in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah. But I mean,
And-
the Lions have had games like this year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no. I don't think it's really an indication. I mean, they got another home game again this week. I don't think it's really an indication of where they're at. And I don't think it's an indication of how they're going to be for the rest of the final series, depending on what
Oh,
happens.
look. Let's be honest. Second on the ladder is for them, for where they're at, is definitely an overachievement.
Anything from this point forward is roses.
Yeah, I dare say they're probably not going to have as good a year next year. And I know we shouldn't be talking about how clubs are going to be going next year, but they're going to get a hard draw next year, and they'll probably still make finals, but top four might not be in the picture for them. Second. Were they the second best team in the AFL this year? Maybe over the whole 23 rounds, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Like there's, at the moment, based on form for the last 5-6 weeks, no.
Yeah.
Clearly not. And Geelong's not the top as well. So
No.
we've got this funny situation though where the ladder hasn't come out.
There was a strange where clubs actually
Yeah.
should have been positioned. But anyway, we'll look at this week. Nick, do you want to take us through the first game?
Right. So we have the Geelong Cats at their traditional home of the MCG
Absolutely.
against the West Coast Eagles.
MCG really, I reckon, it favours the West Coast Eagles in this one.
Well, if we look at the Bet Easy.
Oh, sorry. We'll get it up. Keep talking about Bet Easy, how easy it is to bet when you're betting easy. We'll walk down the
Easy
bet
betting.
shop. Never been easy.
So they've got the Cats at $1.85 and the Weagles at $1.96.
Very close. Very close. What are you thinking, Nick?
I think
What are
that's
your thoughts?
those odds are clearly based on last week, I reckon. I think a lot of people are high on the Eagles after last week's game, and they're not high on the Cats after last week. And I'd say that's probably selling the Cats short. I think.
Yeah.
And I think everyone's getting a little bit excited for the West Coast, and as I said earlier, against Essendon, I wasn't that impressed.
It was a big sound in the West. Oh, that's the Giants.
No, they're just the Eagles, and they're going to tell you why they're the big birds.
Oh, they are the big birds.
I see Geelong bouncing back this week. But
I just don't know.
are they? Oh, they're already. Okay, I wasn't expecting teams out yet. It's Thursday night.
Yeah.
So they're bringing back Cam Guthrie and Reece Stanley.
Reece Stanley, what an inspired selection.
And in for Rowan and Duncan, who are injured. Pretchachali is coming in for Willie Rioli, which is expected. I think Willie Rioli is a big loss for them.
Monumental loss.
Loss.
I don't know about this one. As I said before, it's the team that haven't had a really good track record in finals as of late, and the Eagles who are going to be dealing with the suspension of Willie Rioli and that whole saga that is to come. And I also feel, at the same time, I also feel the Eagles probably better suited to the MCG by this stage. Interestingly enough.
If the Eagles were playing Collingwood instead of Geelong, I'd agree.
Oh.
But I think the Geelong defence matched up a lot better against West Coast.
So
Because that was the other thing that regarding the Reece Stanley omission was that they felt that there wasn't a natural matchup for Blitzards. They've got it this week
Yeah.
in the forward line.
Yeah.
there's plenty of like Cripps or Maston or even the big two. So I feel like it's a better matchup for Geelong this week.
Fuck, they got some good forward lines.
Both
Both teams. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Even someone like Ryan Myers.
yeah.
And
He was Tom Atkins, Dalhouse. Yeah, look.
Ablett.
Gary probably
Very quiet.
Yeah, he was probably
Very
underperformed this
quiet.
week.
You could tell he was really quiet because he didn't try and snipe anyone.
No elbows this week.
It was like, Gary,
He's put the elbow away.
Gary, why aren't you blocking? Why aren't you blocking and then going 5 metres off the ball to do it again?
Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Honestly, I don't know. Really torn with this one. I don't think it's as easy pick for me as the other game. I'm gonna go with the Cats, but something eats away at me saying the Eagles. But I'm gonna go with the Cats because it's the more logical decision.
Do you reckon Geelong's clearly got a smaller forward line than Essendon went in with, I'd say. Because you got Dalhouse, Myers, Atkins.
I think Geelong's the sort of team that's just going to bomb blindly into the forward.
Yeah, and I think that...
Especially when you got someone like Gary Ablett at half forward.
Yeah.
This is not going to happen.
And then Reece Stanley matching up against Nitnat is a better matchup, I would have thought.
100%. That being said, it's still very lopsided in the ruck.
Of course.
Or so we think.
It's just we don't know how many minutes they're going to put into Nitnat this week as well.
You'd
think it'd be more than last week.
Yeah, you'd have to expect it'd be maybe like a 25% increase.
You'd say so.
In time.
Yeah.
For their sake, you'd hope so. Because if he's on the ground, they're more likely to win. The longer he's on the ground, they're more likely to win.
So 2 Geelongs from us?
Yeah. Regretful. 2 Geelongs. What am I clicking on? I swear, if this just takes me to the GWS website, I'll skip the shit.
That looks fun.
Alrighty, Roo. So it's still loading. So we've got the Brisbane Lions, the mighty Brisbane Lions taking on the GWS Giants at the Gabatoir. At 2:25 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time.
That's
it's going to be
7:25.
What did I say?
2:25.
7:25 p.m. It's going to be 29 degrees and sunny. Be beautiful. Bet easy bet. Bet easy while you're betting easy. It's never been easy when you bet with Bet Easy. Have the Brisbane Lions, or as I like to call them, the Brisbane Bears, at $1.62, and the Giants
Don't say that in front of Dad.
The Giants at $2.30, which I think is about right. I think that's about right in terms of the odds.
I reckon a bit closer.
You reckon?
I reckon a bit closer.
Oh,
I'm favouring the Lions, but just more of a finals hardened team now, the Giants.
Yeah, let's have a look.
If they come out like they did last week, then look out, I'd say.
So coming into the Brisbane Lions side, we have Nick Robertson, and out we have Mitch Robinson, who is a fucking huge out.
That's big out.
That's
finals.
A huge out. A huge out. Because the way that I saw it, especially coming into this game, Mitch Robinson at one end, you got Hodge at the other.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing for Brisbane, I think. Not this week, which sort of throws a bit of a spanner into the works, I think. For the GWS Giants, in's coming Adam Tomlinson, which is a pretty good in. That's not bad. Out Deledio, he's played his last game. That's it.
Yeah, damn shame.
Yeah. I think he was sort of... Actually, I think even he said he wouldn't be able to heal in time if they played a grand final. Not that you'd play him anyway, really. And Zach Williams is playing his 100th game. Do we go through let's go through the umpires.
The umpires?
So we got Matt Stevic, or Stevich.
Yeah.
Whatever, if he wants to Aussie it up, Stevic. Razor Ray. And Sean Ryan. So it'll be a terribly umpired game.
I'm amazed Razor's getting... Is he in the top 6?
apart from Margetts, I probably couldn't name you another umpire.
Yeah.
Margetts has to be the worst umpire I've ever seen in my life. he's probably umpiring the West Coast game. He's got a woody for West Coast.
Yeah.
So with this one, until I was reminded of Mitch Robinson being out, probably still going to pick him. Brisbane Lions, I think. The Gabba is their fortress. I know they lost last week, but that was Richmond. Shut up, JJ! What's wrong with this dog?
It's 10-2 now, so it's still a big differential.
What's 10? What is it?
Still 10-2. Brisbane this year, the Gabba's well.
Oh yeah,
Still 10-2. So it's a big advantage.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. GWS, I don't know, because they've been so inconsistent this year. Brisbane have been so less inconsistent. Gonna have to go with the Brisbane Lions on this one. Although I wouldn't be shocked if the Giants bring that attitude from last week and just scare the living shit out of the Lions.
They're gonna have to.
And they become the scaredy cats. But I'm gonna stick with the Brisbane Vegas Lions. Yeah. The Brisbane Vegas Bears. The Fitzroy Bears.
The Fitzroy.
Fitzroy.
Yeah, I'm going for the Lions as well. You look at the two lists, and it's probably just because the Lions have just broken out this year. But you look at the two.
You didn't know half those players last year.
On Brisbane.
Yeah.
I can recognise most of them.
So you knew Hodge.
I knew Hodge.
Harris Andrews, probably. Daniel Rich, of course. Dane Zorko.
Weatherden, Zorko.
Cameron.
Bailey, Cameron, Hipwood, McCluggage, McInerney, McStay, Rayner, Stephen Martin, Neil, obviously.
You can't really count Lockie, Neil and...
Christensen, and that's about it.
Yeah.
The other guys are new to me. But, like, you hear a lot about Marcus Adams now, and...
Exactly.
Jared Lyons, you hear a lot about now.
Hipwood, Rayner.
Oh, I knew about Hipwood last year.
Well, yeah, but...
The thing is...
They were on no one's... They weren't on the tip of anyone's tongue.
Dad's a Brisbane Lions supporter, so I will know more Brisbane Lion players than
most
the general public.
Yeah.
Look at the Giants list, and it's hard to find someone that you haven't heard of.
Phil Davis.
He tripping up on the full back.
Phil Davis, Heath Shaw, Nick Haynes, Lockie Whitfield, Finn Layson, Josh Kelly, Jeremy Cameron, Brent Daniels, Tomlinson, Himmelberg, De Boer, who's just become an absolute star this year.
Yeah.
Just Mr. AFL. Shane Mumford, Perryman, Green, Williams, Taranto, Reed, I guess. It's such a star team, isn't it? It really is.
There's one matchup that's sticking out to me that I'm looking forward to, actually.
Hit me up, Nick, let me know, what is it?
Lockie Neal, Matt De Boer.
Oh, you reckon?
Oof. That's gonna be...
Why? No. You don't waste Matt De Boer on not Lockie Neal.
Who do you put him on?
You don't need to tag Lockie Neal.
Then who does Matt De Boer go?
Lockie Neal's not an effect. Matt De Boer, you put him on Hodge just for the biff. I'm not. Maybe Zorko.
Look, yeah. Well, it's Neil or Zorko.
Yeah, but the thing about Neil and Zorko is that they're not crazy efficient.
Zorko's very dangerous when he goes forward, though.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what I mean.
I do. Well, then, and on the other end, who's Jared Lyons going to go to? Lockie Whitfield?
I'll tell you what, we're going to bring back Denver Bird and we're going to put him on Toby Green.
That'll be good.
Derby from the 80s on Toby Green.
You reckon he'd just like walk around with the elbows out?
He'd stand on him. That'd be it. It'd be the battle of the studs to the face.
Oh, could you imagine?
No, I think it's going to be a cracker of a game.
I think both games this week are going to be.
I think you put the Lions into any game, to be honest, it's going to be a cracker of a game because you want to see them succeed,
Absolutely.
You do. I don't think there's many AFL fans, not just fans of clubs, but fans of the AFL that don't want to see the Lions do well, unless maybe like you're Collingwood.
That's still salty.
3-pick. But yeah, and GWS sort of the same, maybe not as much as they were 2-3 years ago. People have gotten a bit over them, but I'm still a big fan of the GWS Giants.
Oh, yeah.
Sans Toby Green.
Giants have probably grown on me.
Yeah, I'd be stoked to see either team make the big dance. I don't think either of them will, so this is really a null and void game. But it'd be good for Brisbane to get a finals win under their belt heading into next year. It'd just open up the chance of how well they can do in the finals. Anything else on this game, Nicholas Van Neal?
No, I think we've done it to death.
Done. Anything else to talk about? Because this was meant to be a short one because we don't have Sam, but we've pissed on for a long time. I think we actually ended up doing it more seriously than what we usually do.
Probably.
Which is funny because Sam's usually the serious one.
And he usually asks...
He asks questions.
He asks the hard-hitting questions.
He does ask the hard-hitting questions. Nick, what was for dinner? Have you had dinner?
Yeah.
What'd you have?
We had Thai.
Yeah. But you guys
Red duck
cooked
curry.
it or you ordered it?
Oh no, we got it.
Well, you didn't make fucking red duck curry.
No.
You know, at the wedding on the weekend, the duck was nice. In the risotto.
Oh right. Yeah. I had. What did I have? I had the other one. The medallions.
Yeah, that would have been dry.
No, they weren't too
And you liked it? Flavour-wise, they were good, but you don't give a fuck about wedding food.
What was the dinner again? There was the
It was the steak
eye fillet and the
was it salmon? I think it was salmon.
yeah.
Yeah, I had the
I'm
salmon.
not a salmon person.
I'm a very big salmon person. I love it. I love it smoked. Smoked salmon.
No, what Marie's biggest issue was
What?
with the desserts. So I had the
I didn't get the fucking chocolate thing.
no.
Well, can we talk about
the panettone?
Panna cotta.
Panna cotta. Panettone. Fucking hell.
We're gonna discuss
Anyway.
this
It was beautiful.
in a few moments when people who don't give a shit, all 2.5 of them, aren't listening. So that's about it.
Yeah.
We're done and dusted, and we'll see you next week. Sam will not be back,
No. He's
so
still jet setting.
we'll try to be funny next week,
Yeah.
and and Sam will be back in time for the final. We'll see you next week. This has been the Fend.